Next, we have Anonymous. I just went through a miscarriage and wanted to know any tips to support me in this transition. I'm at peace, but of course sad, as I really thought my baby was coming this time. Wasn't the time. My heart is with you. I wish I could give you a big hug. I have been there and I know how hard it is, painful both emotionally and physically. But I'm really happy to hear that you're at peace. That's beautiful. So I really like to think of, well, a miscarriage is a birth, an abortion is a birth, a stillbirth is a birth, a full term live birth is a birth. It's all birth. And ideally, all of it would be honored with a period of a sacred window. And that length of time of the sacred window can vary a little bit based on the length of the pregnancy. I feel like that's a very practical way to apply it. So I noticed at one point that we say like 6 weeks is 42 days, right? So we say like 42 days is about what we're looking at for a sacred window for a full term birth. Pregnancy is roughly 40 weeks, right? Some people have give birth earlier, some people give birth later. Ayurveda usually says anywhere from 38 to 42 weeks is considered full healthy gestation. So you see the correlation between 40 days and 40 weeks. So I like to say, in the case of miscarriage, how many weeks were you pregnant? If you can give yourself at least one full day of rest and one full day of sacred window care for every week that you were pregnant. So let's say you were 12 weeks pregnant. If you could give yourself at least 12 days of a sacred window, or about 2 weeks, right? If you were 6 weeks pregnant, if you could give yourself at least 6 days of a sacred window or about 1 week. And of course, tune into yourself and see what you actually need, because even in the case of a full term birth and a 40-day sacred window, or a full 6 week sacred window, it's not like on day 40 you're not okay and then on day 41 you suddenly are, right? It's a transition out and it takes time. But if you are able, and it's not always possible, right? Because we have the demands of life and we have work and we have responsibility and obligations. But if there is any way that you are able to set aside a reprieve for yourself, basically, where you exit the world of obligations and work and busyness and running around and sit down, lay down, rest, and deeply nourish yourself as per the postpartum protocols of Ayurveda, then that would be my highest recommendation. And if you could do that for at least one day per week that you were pregnant, that would be my highest recommendation. And then, of course, checking in with yourself to see if you need more time. And if that's not possible, at least to see what is possible. Could you do a portion of that? Could you set aside a time, a portion of each day, even if it's not the whole day? How can you implement the 4 pillars of Ayurvedic postpartum care one day for each week that you are pregnant? And there's no limit to what I would recommend. I would recommend all of it if that were possible. It's not always possible, right? So we would want to see the pillar of rest, so staying off your feet, resting. We would want to, and just in general, cocooning yourself and surrounding yourself with positive things. You intake everything that's around you, so you don't want to watch scary movies or listen to songs that make you sad or angry, or be around people that make you sad or angry. Protect yourself energetically and emotionally. Create a nest for yourself and be in it, and rest and sleep and be off your feet, right? And then we've got the pillar of nutrition. So what can you do? You wouldn't necessarily have to have as strict of a protocol of vata reduction, but you've still gone through so much. You've still had a birth and you still have had a lot of change. So anything you can do to eat foods that are warm and soupy, focus on soups and anything that is easy to digest, healthy fats, iron building because you lose a lot of blood when you have a miscarriage too. Think deep nourishment, think soups, think warmth. And then if there's any way that you can either put oil on your body every day to achieve the pillar of Abhyanga, or if there's someone in your life who could just very gently and very basically put warm oil on your body every day, that would be amazing. Or at least part of the day, you could put a hot water bottle or some kind of warm heater on your belly. If you want to wrap your belly, that would be absolutely acceptable, but don't put too many pressures on yourself, right? Because we're not looking for perfection here. Something I've been focusing on a lot lately in my life is how beautiful the imperfections are. If you have a flower that is a fake artificial flower, or if you have a flower from nature and you're holding them up to each other, which one is more beautiful? The flower from nature, hands down. What's the biggest difference between them? The artificial flower is perfect. It's perfectly formed. The 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 organic flower from nature is going to have imperfections, and somehow it is so much more beautiful. So the way that you want to care for yourself is being gentle with yourself and being loving with yourself and surrounding yourself in love and all of these things, the warm food, the rest, the gentle nourishing environment, the nourishment of the food, the warmth of the abhyanga oil, wrapping your belly like a hug. All of this is um, so gentle and loving, and it's cloaking you in love, and it's cloaking you in peace, and it's nourishing you, and it's holding you, right? That is more important than having like all of our I's dotted and all of our T's crossed and everything is just perfect by the books. That's not what we're looking for here. We're looking for like true life and practicality, and how can we integrate this ancient wisdom into our daily lives in a way that's actually going to serve us. And if we start getting bent out of shape, like I see so many people do, about not being able to do it absolutely perfectly, then that is not serving us anymore and we've lost the point. So, even though I'm bringing up the fact that you could do absolutely everything for yourself in the postpartum time as per the Ayurvedic postpartum protocols, that would be appropriate. It's okay if that's not possible. Every amount of it that is possible for you, do that. Even if it's only a few pieces, do that and continue to be at peace knowing that what you've done is exactly right for you because it's what you were able to do given the circumstances and given the time. Okay. So, because when you have a miscarriage, you don't have everything lined up and prepared ahead of time, right? But, maybe this is something you can even help other women with in the future who have miscarriages, is being there as a postpartum doula. So, anyways, baths are amazing. We're still in the pillar of body care, right? So we've got warm oil abhyanga, warm baths, and belly wrapping. If you want to bring herbs into the bath, one of my favorite combination of herbs for miscarriage is for healing after a miscarriage is ashoka and rose. So if you can get ashoka powder, since I don't know who you are, I don't know if you're in the United States, but I would order, if you are in the United States, I would order from let's see, ayurveda.com. Go over here and click store. That's the Ayurvedic Institute. They usually have Ashoka in stock. Banyan Botanicals no longer carries Ashoka, or at least the last I looked, which was very recently, they didn't. Changes all the time. Powdered Ashoka, yeah, from 250 per 1 ounce. 1 ounce is probably gonna be about that much in a little plastic baggie. That's what I think. Um, Oh, so that would be a great amount to start with. You could even get two of those. 2 tablespoons of the powder. You want to get about 8 cups of water. Put 2 tablespoons of Ashoka powder. And then if you have rose petals, just kind of grab a handful of rose petals. It doesn't have to be exact. If you want to measure it out, you could do anywhere from half a cup to a full cup of rose petals. Pour that in and then just gently simmer for 20 minutes. Strain it off and pour it in the bath. I'm not going to go into Ashoka deeply because I don't know. Maybe you already know all about Ashoka, or maybe you're brand new to the course and don't know it yet. But Ashoka means is without, and Shoka is sorrow. So it's without sorrow, the remover of sorrow. Sometimes that is referring to pain physically, and it can also refer to emotional pain. It even means like removing illness from the body, but it has an amazing affinity with the female reproductive system and is a beautiful support after a miscarriage for both emotional and physical healing. So, soaking in a bath like that, if you don't like baths or don't have access to a bath, you could do a sitz bath, in which case, do the same thing I told you, but with just half the amount of water, like 4 cups of water instead. You can cut the whole recipe in half if you want to, but you don't have to. And I'm just really sending my love to you. And I hope that all of this makes sense kind of as an integrated whole, right? So see how many days compared to how many weeks, 1 day for each week, that you can rest and keep yourself cloaked in a positive, kind of energetically protective environment. Eat food that's warm and soupy and easy to digest with good fats and blood building. And if you can, get warm oil on your body. If you want to, you can wrap your belly. You can put a hot water bottle or some kind of heating pad on your belly. You can take beautiful warm baths. If you want to add herbs to the bath, you can. The Ashoka rose recipe I gave you takes it to the next level. Just recapping here, I just like to recap at the end of everything I say to help drive it in. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for love and peace and gentleness and cloaking yourself in beauty and cocooning yourself. And you want to build that cocoon with something gentle and beautiful and nourishing, not with unrealistic expectations that are going to make you feel like you fall short. That's not the point of any of this, right? Anything you can add in is going to be beneficial and is more than enough. Okay. If you happen to already have on hand any of the herbs we talk about, specifically Dashmula, that's the only one I'd really focus on, honestly. Dashmula, I believe that the Ayurvedic Institute also has Dashmula. I'm less concerned about you getting this as with all the other stuff I said, but if by chance you already have this on hand, or if you're going to order Ashoka and just want to order Dashmula too and want to make yourself some tea, just follow the recipe that we use in the course from module 3. Okay. Yeah, but this would be kind of like the least of my concerns. And for anyone listening in, take this information to support others in a similar situation. Okay. Thank you so much for coming to us. Sending you so much love here. It's my hug for you. I wish I could give you a hug or just come and do all this stuff for you.